Imagine a $300 million fighter jet that never fires a shot. Not because it can't, because it doesn't need to. It commands a swarm of autonomous drones that cost 1/12 its price, fly twice as far, and die so the pilot doesn't. Not in theory, not on paper. In production right now. June 2026 at Anduril's Arsenal 1 facility in Mississippi and General Atomics line in California, where the first 150 combat-capable collaborative combat aircraft are being built to fly alongside Boeing's F-47. The Air Force calls them CCAs, Collaborative Combat Aircraft. Loyal wingmen. The names undersell what they represent. This isn't a support system for the F-47. It's the reason the F-47 exists at all. Let me show you why and how the math changes everything. The F-47 costs approximately $300 million per unit. Boeing's development contract is $20 billion. The Air Force plans to buy 185 of them. That's $55.5 billion in airframes alone, before weapons, before training, before the decades of sustainment that will push total program costs past $100 billion. Each F-47 is roughly 3 times the cost of an F-35A, which itself runs $80 to $100 million depending on variant. The F-22 program costs $67 billion for 185 jets. The F-47 will exceed that before the first production aircraft flies. Now the drones. The Air Force awarded production contracts to Anduril and General Atomics on June 17, 2026, 4 months ahead of schedule. Anduril builds the YFQ-44A Fury. General Atomics builds the FQ-42A Dark Merlin. Both are jet-powered, autonomous, and designed to fly in formation with manned fighters. The cost target is 1/3 of an F-35A. That puts each CCA at approximately $25 to $30 million. The Air Force originally defined attritable as under $20 million per unit. They've since dropped that threshold. The new definition isn't a price, it's an operational concept. Attritable means an aircraft whose loss is acceptable in combat. Not cheap, acceptable. There's a difference, and it matters. Anduril's Fury reaches Mach 0.95, roughly 1,125 kilometers per hour, service ceiling of 15,250 meters, 50,000 feet, range out to 2,600 kilometers, endurance of up to 15 hours, payload capacity of 400 to 500 kilograms across modular stations. General Atomics' Dark Merlin, derived from the XQ-67A platform, delivers comparable range with 6 to 8 hours endurance. Both carry sensors, electronic warfare pods, and weapons. The Fury's 15-hour endurance is unprecedented. No other known loyal wingman platform approaches that figure. Endurance translates to loiter time over contested airspace, which translates to sustained sensor coverage and persistent threat projection. The F-47's combat radius is classified, but publicly reported estimates place it near 1,000 nautical miles. That's roughly 1,850 kilometers. The Fury's range of 2,600 kilometers means the drones can sweep 750 kilometers ahead of the fighter, probe enemy air defenses, activate sensors, paint radar sites, jam communications, draw fire. The F-47 stays outside the engagement envelope entirely. This is the architecture. The manned fighter becomes a command node. The drones become the tip of the spear. But here's the strategic implication that Pentagon planners are still working through. The Air Force plans to field 1,000 CCAs, 2 per manned fighter initially, but the architecture scales. An F-47 could control 4, 6, potentially 8 CCAs in a single mission package. One F-47 at $300 million plus 4 CCAs at $25 million each equals $400 million for a 5-aircraft formation. Compare that to 3 F-35s at $300 million total that deliver less range, less sensor coverage, and 0 attrition tolerance. The CCA-armed F-47 covers more battle space, generates more sensor data, and absorbs losses the F-35 formation cannot. This isn't a cost reduction, it's a force multiplier that rewrites the attrition calculus. In a Pacific conflict, the first wave of any air campaign is suppression of enemy air defenses. SEAD. Traditional SEAD puts $100 million F-35s into the teeth of integrated air defense networks, betting that stealth and electronic warfare will keep them alive. When it doesn't, the United States loses a $100 million aircraft, a trained pilot, and months of replacement time. The pilot becomes a POW or a casualty. The aircraft becomes a congressional inquiry. CCAs invert that math. A Fury drone sweeps forward, activates its sensors, illuminates enemy radar emissions, and absorbs the surface-to-air missile. Cost of the loss? $25 million. No pilot. No POW crisis. No months of replacement training. The production line at Arsenal 1 builds another one. The F-47 pilot, 1,000 kilometers behind the drone, assigns the next CCA to fill the gap. The enemy fires a $4 million interceptor at a $25 million drone. The exchange ratio favors the defender in that single engagement, but the drone is replaceable in weeks. The SAM site is not replaceable once the F-47's targeting data routes a standoff missile to its coordinates. Lose 12 CCAs in a seed mission and the cost is $300 million. That's one F-47. One. The Air Force can absorb that. China's integrated air defense network cannot absorb the sustained pressure of replaceable platforms that keep coming wave after wave, each one cheaper than the missile required to shoot it down. Now consider the production math on the other side. China's Chengdu Aircraft Corporation produces approximately 200 J-20 stealth fighters per year across 5 production lines. The United States produces roughly 140 to 156 F-35s per year across a single Fort Worth final assembly line. China is already ahead in raw quantity and accelerating. The J-20 fleet stands at 450 to 500 aircraft. The J-35A is now entering serial production, adding a second stealth fighter type to the PLAAF inventory. By 2030, China's combined stealth fleet could exceed 1,000 aircraft. The United States cannot close that numerical gap by building more F-47s at $300 million each. The math doesn't work. 185 F-47s over a decade cannot match 2,000 plus Chinese stealth fighters over the same period. But 1,000 CCAs at $25 to $30 million each? That's $25 to $30 billion for a drone fleet that outnumbers China's entire stealth inventory. And that's the first increment. The Air Force has signaled that 1,000 is a starting point, not a ceiling. Increment 2. CCAs are already in concept development with expanded roles for electronic attack, ISR, and strike missions. The production infrastructure is being built to scale. Arsenal 1 is Anduril's first manufacturing facility. Arsenal 2 and Arsenal 3 are planned. General Atomics brings decades of Predator and Reaper production experience. The industrial base for autonomous combat aircraft is being constructed right now, in real time, to match a threat that already exists. This is the attrition calculus that defines modern air warfare. It's not about who has the best fighter. It hasn't been for years. It's about who can sustain losses, replace platforms, and keep generating sorties when the shooting starts. China understood this when it built 5 J-20 production lines and pushed annual output past 200. The United States is now answering with a different equation. Fewer exquisite manned platforms, many more expendable unmanned ones. The F-47 is the most sophisticated air dominance platform ever built. Multispectral stealth, adaptive cycle engine, directed energy integration, combat radius that reaches deep into the first island chain without tanker support. But the F-47 alone is a $300 million bet that no adversary can afford to trade against. Paired with $1,025 million drones that can jam, sense, strike, and die? That's a force structure designed for sustained attrition warfare. That's a system America can afford to lose platforms in and keep fighting. China builds 200 fighters a year. The United States plans to build 1,000 drones. The question was never who builds the better aircraft. It's who can outproduce, outabsorb, and outlast the other when the attrition starts. The CCA program is America's answer to the production gap it cannot close with fighters alone. Whether that answer arrives fast enough is a different question. Type F-47 or CCA in the comments. There's no right answer. One is the platform, the other is the strategy that makes it survivable. This is DIB Dispatch, where billion-dollar projects meet battlefield reality.